Well, what's up, cool people? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. We have some exciting breaking news to talk about as far as Cedar Point goes right now. Now, I'm going to include some articles and links all down in the description, so please go check those out also so that you can see what's really happening. But as of today, right now, Cedar Fair and Six Flags are both the same company. Whew. Okay, let's talk about all the different kinds of stuff that is into this. This started being rumored like 2 days ago, really. It was kind of came into the clear a little bit, and like Reuters was talking about that they may merge, that they were in talks and things like that, and I really just kind of shrugged it off. Like, this just happened a year ago with SeaWorld, and they were saying that possibly they might merge together and that SeaWorld would buy Cedar Fair. Basically, at this point, we know that now the Cedar Fair name is no longer the thing that is happening. It is now Six Flags. So we are now visiting Six Flags' Cedar Point. I don't think it's going to be called Six Flags Cedar Point, but maybe like I think brand recognition's already there. Kings Island, Cedar Point, Carowinds. I think that's just going to be the brand. But anyway, they are now Six Flags companies, all of them. So Six Flags does have a massive amount of brand recognition. So I definitely understand that. It is 51% though Cedar Fair, and I am seeing in a lot of the publicity things and stuff like that, I am seeing a lot of interviews with Cedar Fair people. So I think maybe Cedar Fair kind of had the bigger buying power. Actually, I think both companies were valued pretty similarly. I think what I read was 1.7 billion for Cedar Fair and 1.8 billion for Six Flags. But the merger now brings them up to an $8 billion valuation for the company overall, which is great, and I hope that that means that there's a lot that they can sink into these parks, and not just on rides, but entertainment, experiences, exciting things like that that are going to separate them from places like Kentucky Kingdom or things like that, where there's actually some large scale experiences or parades, things like that, that happen in these parks. This is kind of pretty exciting, actually, in a lot of different ways. One of those ways that it's very exciting is we are now going to have Six Flags parks all over the country. That I think is really going to be cool. I don't expect to see anything change immediately. Of course, just like Cedar Fair has done in the past, things get sold off. Things are going to get changed. It's going to happen. I don't expect that to be the case immediately. I think there will be some changes that will happen piece by piece, but not, not this next year. I would imagine not this next year anyway. We'll see if that's what they do or not, if maybe they will immediately get rid of something, but I can't imagine that would be the case. I think it'd be too much change all at one point and would anger too many people and investors. One thing I don't love about this is just everything has become so much about the investors. It's about how much money they can squeeze out and make sure that gets back to the investors, because the park has to be growing every single year. And that's just kind of a problem that I see with the stock market just in general, with any company, which kind of takes down some of the value out of the company actually for the normal person, because what are we looking for? Like, that's the reason why a lot of the shows and things like that have been cut year after year. Budgets are slashed because those things do not show direct appeal straight to the investors, and that I think is a massive problem, because you don't have a great park if you don't have some great entertainment. You simply have like a family, like an Indiana Beach kind of thing. Anyway, though, this is an exciting thing. I mean, hopefully with the pass that I will buy this year, I can then go visit some of the existing Six Flags parks also. I would really love that, because that is something that stopped me from visiting some of the Six Flags parks so far. Their pricing is different, all that kind of stuff. I do hope that they still keep, well, I mean, I'd love it if they could change a few things about Fastlane. I think Fastlane maybe is not the best thing ever. And maybe the two companies' power put together could actually make for a decent website. That like the app that could actually tell you what the times are and things like that somewhat accurately without it being literally like a 60-minute wait when it says 5 minutes on the app. Like maybe those things could change. That'd be awesome. I'm really planning on doing a lot more research and looking into Six Flags Parks and what they do as far as food and entertainment and drinks and all that kind of stuff goes. Their meal plans, things like that. Those things all have me a little bit concerned. And obviously none of this is out in the open yet. Like we don't know exactly what their plans are. I doubt they do even. They know that there's going to be this merger and that they are now doing it. And the deal has gone through, so we know that much, but what's it actually going to do? We don't really know. All we can do is kind of speculate at this point. So I'm excited about some speculation, and I'm sure I'll be making some speculation videos about this coming on. So if you haven't yet, press that subscribe button, because we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff with this. We may even go live and kind of see what your initial thoughts and perspectives are on this merger sometime very soon. I doubt I can do that tonight, but sometime very soon. But I wanted to get this initial video out so that we can talk about some stuff. You know, let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Is this something that you think is good? Is it something that you think is bad? I'm gonna be completely honest, there are some negatives here. So for me, some negatives are even just losing the Cedar Point name. Or the Cedar Fair name. I mean, Cedar Fair, like I said, I think Cedar Point, I think Carowinds, like they're Kings Island, Kings Dominion, they're going to retain their brand recognition. Knott's Berry Farm, obviously, they're going to maintain their brand recognition that they already have. So that obviously isn't going to become an issue, but Six Flags is now the name of the company, so it is no longer Cedar Fair. Honestly, it makes it better to me knowing that Cedar Fair owns 51% of the company, and that it's been divided in that way, and then 49% Six Flags. Six Flags obviously has the larger capital. Like they have many more parks than Cedar Fair does, but Cedar Fair had a very similar valuation, just like we talked about earlier, from that 1.7 billion to the 1.8 billion for Six Flags. That actually kind of looks poorly on Six Flags, because Six Flags has so many parks, they really should be valued higher than that, or at least you would assume. And so if you divide things up per capita or per park, then you're going to end up having a lot less value in Six Flags versus the value that you're going to have in Cedar Point or in Cedar Fair. They are still keeping some offices and administration in Sandusky. I'm glad to hear that, but I have a feeling it's kind of more of an appeasement kind of a thing. Instead, they are moving their headquarters to Charlotte. That is something that I find sad and kind of happy at the same time. I just went and visited Carowinds, and I love Carowinds. I think Cedar Point has such a huge amount of power because of its specific area where it is. Because of its location right along the beach on a peninsula, this total vacation destination. There's really not much more you can add to Cedar Point, though, and there's really not much more that you could take away from Cedar Point. Like, even if you took away all the rides, the vacation destination still exists right in that area. So because of that, moving the headquarters, I think, could possibly bode well, especially for Carowinds. And I'm excited to see potential of what Carowinds could become, because I do think there's so much more that they could add. I mean, they even have like a massive berm all the way around their parking lot, where you could expand the parking lot into that and expand the rides deeper into the parking lot. So, you know, replace the parking lot with more parking lot in just the green space that surrounds that area. There's just a ton of extra space. They're very similar in that way to the way Kings Island is set up also. There's just a ton of extra space there. So I'd love to see both of those parks do more and become more like roller coaster centric, really become massive roller coaster stuff. But also I have been really encouraged by watching what Carowinds has been doing with their entertainment, and seeing more entertainment come from Carowinds sounds like a really cool idea. Like their Halloween stuff looks stellar. I've watched videos. That's all I've been able to see. But I'd love to go visit them and see more of what they are doing. Also, they're in Carowinds, especially for times of the year when there's a lot of entertainment happening. This opens up all kinds of new opportunities though, for me, for the channel, for lots of stuff. I mean, we'll be probably trying to hit Six Flags in Chicago. Now it makes for some new areas to go visit. So we'll also be doing a planning video this coming year. And so that's going to deeply affect a brand new planning video that we're going to be doing, talking about planning for every trip that you could take within, 100 miles or something like that of this area, or of Cedar Point, to other Six Flags parks that you could go visit also. So I do think this is exciting. There's some exciting things. There's also some sad things. Losing the brand recognition makes me sad, but at the same time, Six Flags has always had a much better brand recognition. Maybe not brand power, but brand recognition. I think people have often felt more positively about Cedar Fair rather than about Six Flags. Six Flags has felt a little bit cheaper and more carnival-y, I guess. But at the same time, also Six Flags comes with a lot of intellectual property that I think is really going to be awesome. They own the DC universe, so you could actually have some DC stuff happening in some of these different parks, which I think is really going to be exciting. I'd love to see that. And I think it opens up new opportunities for Cedar Fair to become more in direct competition with SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Disney World, Universal Studios, all of those different properties all around these highly immersive, highly sought after experiences, and also more year-round experiences with that too. So I would love to see Six Flags become a larger part of that kind of competition with some of these other greater brands that exist really more just along the coasts. Instead now Cedar Fair or Six Flags, it's going to be hard to get used to that, will have the opportunity to compete in that kind of an arena, and I hope that they do. I hope there's some more immersive experiences that they can come in, even if they are more like Universal-esque with like lots of screens and things like that. That's fine. Just give us an immersive situation where we can go through it in like some dark ride experiences. I'd love to see that. Some other coasters, maybe with some greater theming, something that maybe could compete with an Islands of Adventure, especially with Universal's Marvel Superhero Island, that I definitely think could be in competition with some sort of DC, universe, or some sort of awesome themed experience for DC also. Could actually compete with people's vacations. So instead of, with gas and flights so expensive right now, not to mention the cost of everything else, just the cost of living is higher. With all of those things having changed, could this be a great opportunity for people instead to choose to go to Cedar Point, Kings Island, Kings Dominion, all these different places, rather than taking their normal Disney or Universal trip for spring break? Could this be a better opportunity for them to be able to capitalize on that and make a little bit of additional money in that kind of way? Because people don't want to spend that much money on a flight and things like that down to Florida. Instead, they could actually spend time in their more local park. Is this a great opportunity for these more local parks to come in and really get more consumer power from them? Is that an option for them? I think it could be a really cool possibility. Universal Studios is building a new place, a new resort down in Texas. So is that something that we could compete with Six Flags Over Texas? I think maybe it's possible, and I think it could be really cool. So anyway, I've got all kinds of mixed emotions, and I've got some things I think are positive and some things I think are negative. So what do you think? I'd love to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Is this all positive, or mostly positive, or mostly negative to you? Or are you somewhere right in the middle? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. I think overall, I think I'm feeling hopeful. But that's me, and I'm no judgment to you if you're not. So let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, and we may do some additional videos, talking about your concerns, your thoughts, seeing if I can alleviate any of those, or if I just can commiserate with you on some of those thoughts too. So let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Also, if you're not cool people yet, what you doing, my guy? Press that subscribe button down below, because we'll be having all kinds of additional videos talking about even this topic. I wasn't planning on talking a lot about this topic, but I think there's going to be a lot of additional concerns and a lot of things that are going to be fleshed out as we continue through this winter. So I'm excited to talk about those things also. So press that subscribe button. We also have even more theme park experiences for you guys to enjoy. So there's new stuff coming out. I think I have 15 videos ready at this moment to be released throughout the winter. So press that subscribe button. We're not going anywhere, and neither should you. And let's go! Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right, or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!